What's up? What's up?
How y'all doing today?
What's up, you guys? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. You ready?
Yes, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Give you one second.
Let me adjust my
All right.
thing right quick so I can edit my
Happy,
stuff.
happy, happy Thursday. I was literally trying to figure out a few minutes ago, is today Wednesday or is it Thursday? Because I needed to go back to Wednesday so I can accomplish just a few more things for this week. Just a few more things for this week. That's all I need. Just a few more things. Come on in the room, you guys. I want to make sure you share this with anyone that is interested in getting started, anyone that fear has really stopped them from accomplishing their goals, whatever their goal is. It stopped them. We hope that this podcast is something that helps you take away that fear, but gets you started, gets you feeling good so that you can really hit the ground running. I think fear holds a lot of us in. And I feel like what better way than to have our good friend Johnny come on. So let's add Johnny to the stage because I don't want to talk to myself.
One thing I will say is that we are big believers in tribes. We're a big believer in a community. And we understand that our community isn't for everyone. Right. But find you a community, find you a tribe that fits with you, that vibes with you. So that's one of the reasons that we like to have different coaches on and different mentors on, because that tribe might fit you better. Right. I know a lot of people like multifamily. Yeah, I can tell you that when we started, if I would have knew Johnny Lynn back then, I would have sent Eddie to his tribe, right? Because Eddie liked multifamily. Right. So depending on your likes and interests depends on where you want to fit in and what you do. So I have watched from a distance all the good things that he do. I watched him with Reginald because Reginald came to REI Live before and we connected. So I've been watching from a distance and I always said, hey, I want to get him on. I want to meet him. I want us to connect. I want him to share his story with our people.
Absolutely. Johnny, how are you today?
Doing great, doing great. Glad to be here with you guys.
We're glad to have you. We're so excited, so geeked up. Some people who don't know who you are, tell them who you are, Johnny. Tell them who you are.
No, most definitely. Johnny Lynham grew up in Grove Hill, Alabama, so about an hour north of Mobile, in the sticks, country boy. Running around barefoot down dirt roads, all that. And so that has groomed me into the man I am today, the family man I am today, the leader that I am today. And so, from there, I went off to school, University of Alabama, rolled tide, went to Tuscaloosa, did that for 5 years, and then joined the Air Force, and been doing that now for a little bit over 18 years. And along the way, found real estate soon thereafter, and it changed my life. It changed my life for the positive. And because coming out of college, I had no clue about real estate investing, about stocks and bonds. I didn't even know, for the emphasis on credit, paying credit cards on time. So like for me, when I moved to my first apartment, started my career, it was like, I had to get a family member to sign on a lease with me. And a truly humbling experience. And then after that, I got presented opportunity to buy one side of a duplex about 11 months later, and like the rest is history. And
rest is history. That's what's up. So I'm gonna dive into it. So people where I'm from like to hear credibility. Yeah. And we're not gonna dive too deep in it. We're gonna go towards the end a little later. How many doors do you have right now, Johnny?
So right now, 127. We got a couple of them.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it constantly changes. We got a couple on the market. I'm more so now liquidating some of my single family and flipping everything and just looking to find more multifamily deals.
Oh, that's what's up. So understand, if you got questions when it comes to multifamily, you got questions when it comes to single family, y'all, this is the time to ask your questions, get them in. He's an open book. He's going to help in any way he can. So if you're watching, you think of something, or you had some burning desired questions about multifamily or single family, hey, let's get them in. Let's ask why you have it. Take advantage of this time. I'm going to go back a little bit, Johnny.
Go back to little Johnny.
Little Johnny.
Okay.
Did Johnny grow up in a two-parent household? Was your parents entrepreneurs? Did they have 9-to-5s? What did that childhood look like growing up?
Man, that's a phenomenal question, man, because that definitely impacted me. So definitely two parent household. My dad was an entrepreneur. He had his own appliance business. television and appliance business, but he also was a pastor as well too. And between that, my mom was a phlebotomist at the local hospital, and just seeing the work ethic, man. Like my dad working the job, he was a solo entrepreneur. It was just him. Where everything was just it was on put on his back. And then at the same time, coming home, getting ready for Bible study Wednesday nights, preparing the sermon for Sunday, just day in, day out, just the preparation and the work ethic. And the same thing with my mom with working at one point, working two jobs. And so that impacted me greatly in just the being able to see the sacrifices they made and to not squander the opportunities that got presented in front of me and the ones today that still get put in front of me.
Amazing.
So you're no stranger to hard work.
No.
No.
The one thing that since we started the podcast, the one thing that we have encountered is most people who took that next step, or they're doing something great, or they're going above and beyond. One of them parents in that household was entrepreneur,
was a go-getter,
or I had that entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah.
And just by byproduct of being around it, it rubs off on us, and we don't realize sometimes we get it from them. And it's like, where it come from? Like, why am I built this way? Like, why am I able to go through things when other people fold under pressure? But it's because of the upbringing that we have of an entrepreneur, pastor, TV, things of that nature. Like, there's things from a childhood that play on us. And I will encourage anybody that's listening, y'all have conversations with y'all kids.
With your kids.
Have conversations with your nieces and nephews, because what you're doing is going to impact them.
Yes.
That lifestyle that you present, those work ethics that you present, they're going to see that and they're going to mimic them in some way or some fashion. So if you're not doing nothing, take this time to self-analyze yourself to say, how can I do better?
What type of example do I want to set when it comes to my kids? I noticed you said a family man. How many kids you got?
So we had 3 kids, 10, 8, and 5. And my wife is actually from Birmingham, which my ties with Birmingham and how we got started back in that market back in the day.
Oh, I did not know that. Those are good ages. 10, 8, and 5. We have a 10, 8, and 5. Huh?
Yeah.
We technically
plus another one.
Nice. Let's go.
Those are the ones that cannot actually, they can fend for themselves. It's the 3-year-old that can't. Well, at least he thinks he can.
He thinks he can, though.
Right. Well, good stuff. Okay. So Johnny didn't come from a silver spoon. Johnny came from hard work. When did you start investing in real estate? Like, when did real estate become on your radar?
No, that's a great question, because like, even though I had bought my first house, I was hooked. I'll tell you, they gave me a check for $300 some at closing when I bought my first house, because I used my VA loan, so I didn't have to bring any money to closing. And I'm like, hold on, I'm paying like over $350 less than my apartment rent was, and you giving me money at closing, and I'm gonna own this. And so that kind of got me down that path. I kind of went into analysis paralysis. 08, 09 happened. I'm like, whoa, that sucks. Let me continue to learn and stay on the sideline. But I ended up buying a foreclosure when I moved to my next duty station, using my VA loan again, no money out of pocket. And I did that thing again in 2013. I'm like, okay, hold on, there's something to this. And I remember like it was yesterday. We bought our first house over in Inslee, 5521 Avenue K. Over there, paid $25,000 for it. And we bought it long distance. Knew somebody down there was a contractor, and was like, hey, I got this property, and we bought it sight unseen. And just kind of, that was the first one. And then, I picked up a foreclosure for like $6,400 a couple months later there off of 2nd Avenue. And, that was all the precursor before we started our home renovation business, when we kind of decided that Melissa was going to stay at home with our first child. And it was like, hey, let's put a business around this.
All right. You said something I want to tap into. You said that analysis by paralysis. What fears did you have before you actually took that plunge? What was that? What was them fears?
Man, that you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose it all. Like with me, I still had my student loans and all that, and you just save some money up, but it's like, and you got to leverage your credit for our first deal. So to get going, it's like, okay, you putting all your chips in, like you got to figure this out one way or another. So it was definitely scary. because you never done it before. And that's with anything in life. But I have learned to become comfortable being uncomfortable. And if you're not like changing and you're becoming stagnant, there's something wrong. And it's easy while you're not going through something to say that. But even today, it's like it's always something different, and you kind of challenge yourself and walking out on faith. Because I tell people, faith is an action word that you got to get to move. It didn't say that we're walking through. It didn't say that I stopped in the valley of the shadow of death. It said I'm
Oh, I
walking through
know,
it.
right.
And we all got to go through some stuff, and it's different levels. Like when you get to the next level where you think you want to be at, you're still gonna go through stuff there. But the thing is to understand that you're never gonna have a testimony without having a test, and just know that there's nothing put in front of you that's greater than you are that you can't handle.
Absolutely, man. One of my coaches, I don't know which one, but real estate, entrepreneurship, business is like a mountain. The second you reach the top of that mountain, you look and see it's 5 more mountains waiting on you. And you just got to get back on the climb and get back to fighting up the hill.
Journey, right.
Like it's never going to stop. So you just got to keep going. You got to start. But if you never start, you can't even get up that first hill.
Right.
To know that there's more waiting for you. It's never going to be peaches and cream. It's never just going to be easy. It's going to always be learning experiences. It's going to always be failures.
Yeah.
And you can't be afraid of them. You just got to embrace those.
Yeah. It was Brian Tripp. It was Brian.
Brian told us that?
It was Brian. Okay. Yeah. I had to think, but yeah, it was Brian. It was definitely Brian. We're moving through. We're moving through. We got single family. What was the aha moment that said multifamily is where we need to go?
Big multifamily.
Yeah, and so I focus on I call it small, from industry standards. 40 units and below is kind of my sweet spot.
That's big in my standards.
Yeah.
From the single family.
That's big in my standards.
Exactly. Mine too, because it's like, hey, this is big enough to manage where I'm not doing hundreds of doors. I'm not having to raise millions of dollars that I got to pay back and set when I sell it in 3-5 years, and then I got to chase another deal. I focus on the small apartments, where is that we can buy them and keep them long term and build generational wealth and passive income. It's like you do it 3 or 4 times and you're good. You don't have to keep chasing deals. But for me to make that transition, it was crazy. We were in Panama City when Hurricane Michael hit, October 2018. We were displaced, hopping around Airbnb to Airbnb with a newborn kid for 6 months before we got back in our house. And, so going into that process, we scaled up. We ended up doing like 12 houses that year. But like after we had got the first 2 under contract in March, I tore my ACL the beginning of May. We hadn't even closed on the deals yet. And I had to have surgery on my knee. And I was looking for like professional. I always try to do like at least 1 or 2 professional development events. And so I got off the crutches late summer and I found a multifamily event in Orlando. And I was like, hey, we're going to this. And when I say it changed my life, it's an understatement. And the crazy part, ET was there. ET was on stage. And, of course, you got everybody in the suits. It's predominantly, it's not a really diverse crowd. It's probably like 5% minorities in the room, which is cool. But, so they weren't rocking with ET. ET's on stage. He's trying to get participation, get everybody hyped. So I'm in there. He was like, hey, so what we here? I'm yelling out multifamily. He's like, cool. He was like, so what's your name? And then gave him my name. And then he was like, okay, so how many kids you got? And then he was like, what's your number? And then I was like, hey, 20,000. Then we walked through and ended up, he's like, hey, you need to get an apartment building for each one of your kids. And it kind of went through that process. And it got me thinking. And from the connections, the networking, from meeting just normal, everyday people that were operating at another level. And it just opened my eyes to so much. And leaving out that conference, we talked about me getting 5 apartment complexes in the next 5 years for my kids and for my wife to build that generational wealth. And I hit the ground running. We got back 45 days later. It was actually before the 45 days. I found a couple of days sooner, but we put a letter of intent to buy an 18-unit apartment that had been sitting on the market for like 90 days. And I just went through the process. And we eventually walked it like 30 days later in January of 20. Went through that process, got it under contract at the beginning of March. COVID kicked off during due diligence. My credit union said they were good, despite everything was just complete chaos. And we got the thing done, man.
Man, so
that is so major.
Amazing.
Yes.
You hit. So we got pillars of success, and you hit one of them. And the biggest one you hit was who you listening to, y'all.
Yeah.
Like you have to get around the right people. You have to get around people that's positive, people that's pushing you to the next level, people that have done more than you're trying to do.
Yes.
All right. Because if you're just listening to the people around you, they can't inspire you, they can't push you to that next level.
At all.
But understand that just by Johnny being a person of education and seeking out information, he gets in a room and it changes his whole mindset.
It changes.
Just by being in the room.
He was already invested. He was already invested. This was continued education. So to all my people, they're like, oh, I don't feel like it's worth it. It's always worth it to learn. Like, you may not learn a whole lot, but if you just get that one nugget, that two nuggets that can connect those missing pieces that you have in your business, it can grow you leaps and bounds. And then the networking itself, had you not raised your hand, had you not participated, you would have been just another fly on the wall. But no, get involved, participate, be seen, be heard, and get some help, you guys. Oh, I love it. This just gave me the chills.
That was good.
That gave me the chills. Absolutely. All right.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna come to today's journey. What's some of the challenges that you guys have just on a day-to-day operation, managing, having 120 plus units? What type of challenges and fears come with that?
Man, the big challenge, I tell you, I fired my property management twice last year in Montgomery, man. Where the majority of those units at? Hey, I'm telling you, man, they gave me a few of these gray hairs I got in my head dealing with them folks down there. But it was crazy. But that's why we buy right. We buy right. And property management, we say it, but until you live it, like bad property management will ruin a great deal anytime if you don't have the right people on the ground. And thank God we got the right people. We hired the new company that's managing now in October. It's crazy. We had, because we're doing a value add. We had like 19 units vacant, and I leveraged Facebook and did Facebook ads for the company, and we ended up getting all 19 units filled in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
Just using Facebook ads. But it's been a challenge, man. But with me, I've always been kind of, even though I'm far off, I'm an operator, I'm hands-on, I know the business. And so I'm really right there kind of being a consultant for my property management company, the construction team, and kind of leading them along the way. But you had the challenges. Like we're going in, they interviewed great with the first PM company. They were managing over 5,000 units across 3 different states. They only had one deal in Montgomery they were managing, which now I know, hey, that's a red flag, because all the team, all the infrastructure wasn't in the city where we operate. Right. So we had challenges from that. But yeah, it comes with it. That's the big one. But now that we're kind of writing that thing and getting ready for the refinance late spring, early summer, now we got occupancy up. We're approaching 90% with the other units. So, it comes with the challenge. So that's the big one. Me right now is managing, getting that thing done across the finish line. And then looking for the next deals and kind of keep going from there. But yeah, it's just the management stuff. It's always something day to day. I just had, having pictures for a single family in Huntsville. I just got off the phone. They were calling me because they couldn't find a lockbox. The contractor put it on the side door. And it's like little stuff like that. It's always something that comes up. But having a team, and like my wife, she manages a lot during the day. When I'm in the office with the Air Force doing that first job, that she handles a lot of it. And some of the stuff like, hey, she didn't know where the contractor had put it on the side of the house, things like that. They have to get me involved. But, it's just building a team, preparing for those challenges, for questions to come up, and try to take all those lessons learned from the experience that you get one property at a time, and just continue to take that stuff with you and don't forget it so you don't make the same mistakes, and embrace those new mistakes that you're going to make in challenges, because, it's part of the process.
Absolutely. Tell me, what was your biggest lesson learned in this process, in this journey so far? What do you think was your biggest lesson learned?
Who not how? Like it's crazy. Be the people. That's and understanding. Right, it's it's crazy for real. Like, people think you crazy when you're like, oh, it's a cliche. No, it's like it's like some of the stories, like you just like from just, hey, me knowing, I've had people like came in and did deals with us and wired me $70,000, never met me in life, because somebody introduced them and like, hey, I got money in my IRA. I need to get into a deal. I heard you got a deal. Or, getting put on a phone call and raising almost $250,000 for a deal for just a 15-minute conversation, walking them through the numbers for the apartment deal. And like, yep, I'm in. We'll wire the money next week. type stuff. But it's like if I had never been in a mastermind group, I would have never met that individual sister-in-law to be able to get in front of them. Or, so it's just college stuff, but you got to focus on becoming experienced, the tactics, the knowledge, the information. But like, it's so much money out here. A lot of people, like, they have limiting beliefs around money and the resources they need versus building a team or becoming resourceful to find whatever it is they need. If they need good credit, find somebody with it that's looking to partner and things like that. So it's all about, that, because we're taught, hey, don't talk to strangers. And, you don't want new friends and kind of keep it with your day ones and all that stuff. That's cool. But like, it's a lot of people out here that have a lot of money that's looking for deals and they don't have time to find deals. And they'll partner with you. If you're a person of good character, you have good values, integrity, it's like they're going to be right there with you. And so now you just got to get out of these rooms and meet these people and let them know you exist and cast your vision, let them know what you're building to do. And people will buy into it.
Absolutely, y'all. The magic is in the room. Whatever room, it's not in your bedroom. Let me just tell you that. The magic is not in your bedroom, but it's literally in getting in the room, getting around like-minded people, because Johnny just said it. There, you're gonna get a connection that you could never connect on your own. You can't do everything. You're not an expert at everything. Don't try to be an expert at everything. We had a meeting this morning with the team where they're gonna come in and they're going to take over all of my CRM and automations. For those of y'all that know me, y'all know that that's my baby. And when they were leaving, they said, "What are you going to do?" "Oh, I got plenty of things that my mind will wrap around to do. Don't worry about that. Worry about getting this going without me and taking everything out of my head and making it work." But it's the who, not how. Who can do this for me? Not how can I do it? How can I implement it? How can I do this? No. You will find yourself in a rabbit hole going absolutely nowhere, just spinning your wheels trying to do it on your own. Get a team. Allow people to come inside.
Agree. So I for those of you who don't know, Johnny is coming to REI Live on what date is that, Ashley?
February 20th. I'm sorry. I was trying to find the book.
And I'm not closing out. I'm just want to remind people he is coming. But I'm not a multifamily person. Talk to me like I am 10 years old. What makes a good multifamily deal?
One that cash flows, or it has the opportunity to cash flow. I think that's the big thing that a lot of people bank on is appreciation. But for me, I love value adds where we can go in and improve operations, where we can improve the income, whether it's increasing the rents, increasing, the other income like laundromat that may be on site, whether it's increasing for like the pet fees, water, a lot of utilities, a lot of owners, like how it was built originally, they don't have the separate meter. So there's opportunities to improve the income and reduce the expenses. And so you go in looking at that, quantify how much work needs to be done, and now understand what's the performer or what's it looking like on the other end. If I go in and add these features, improve these units to bring it up to market rent, then what's the income that I can produce? And now based off that income produced and the expenses that we have now, okay, what are investors paying for these type of properties in the market? And so now you kind of just back into the deal and your offer price. We're the same way with single family that you go in and you understand what that after repair value is going to be. And based off those renovations, you're going to come in and start negotiations off of that.
Let's go.
Marcus said, "What's up,
Johnny?"
Marcus said, "Hey, what's going on, brother? What is up?"
So somebody that's a Facebook user put they're definitely interested in the topic. If you're interested, man, ask Johnny some questions. Let him help guide you through this process. From a family standpoint, Johnny, did your family encourage you? Did they kind of talk bad about it? What was the response from the people that was around you, even not even family but friends? Like when you was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this, and I'm gonna do it at this
full
level."
force, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great because initially, my parents were cautious because it was like, "Hey, you got this good job, you out here, taking additional risk in the business and stuff." And I took that with a grain of salt because I knew, I had got information that they didn't necessarily have. I knew what I was doing. I had kind of did the homework up front. So, but and your parents, a lot of times they try to protect you. They want the
Right.
best for you and everything, but at the same time, you gotta know what you know that you know. And when you know that, it's like, hey, I gotta go do this and I know I can do it. But they were super supportive. Like, like my mom when she was living, like my dad was conscious. Like my dad, he did the 100% VA disability and got his back pay. He was good, got
Right.
everything coming in. So he wasn't really on no investment tip or anything like that. But mom, she was like, hey, I see what you're doing. You done did it a couple times. I like it. It's like, hey, yep, we'll partner with you, invest with you. And when we started doing like multiple deals simultaneously, she was right there. Like, hey, go get a credit line against the money. We got you. And so they were right there with me going along for the ride. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have because everybody doesn't have that support system.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't take it for granted that they did it because they didn't have to do it. And so that was super cool. And something that I always take with me and appreciate their support. Then like my dad, like always in my corner. Like I usually get him over here. I go see him once a quarter. And it's crazy. He saw me talking to one of my clients about a deal in Atlanta, and he was like, "Man," he's like, "Did you say a $1.5 million?" Like, yeah. Then I kind of walked him through the. He's like, "Man," he's like, "I remember when you was just this little pea head boy running around." I'm like, "Man," it's like, yeah. Yeah, but he's like, but he told me how proud he was, and like that meant the world to me, just to get that validation from him and do that. So that's it. They were right there in my corner, always been behind my corner, and it means the world to me, man.
Sweet,
Absolutely.
sweet.
Absolutely. Miss Sally
We
said,
got a question coming in. I don't know how deep you can get into this question on the live, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
put you on the spot with it.
how do you determine how much to upgrade a multifamily deal? Cost now versus future value.
Oh, most definitely. I love that. So the way that you get around that, you want to go see what your competition is doing. Get out there, go find other apartments that are charging market rent that have similar upgraded units. Because the thing is, you don't want to over renovate. You don't want to put granite in there. You don't want to put stainless steel appliances if you don't have to. So if you're at $600 a unit right now for your 2 1s, and somebody down the street with a similar floor plan for the square footage that you have and see what they're charging, what kind of finishes they have to charge 850. And so you walk in, go on a tour, and they tell you, you go in, they just got the laminate countertops, they got white appliances, new vinyl plank flooring and fresh paint, and they're charging 850. So now you got the blueprint. You go do the same thing, get a contractor to give you an estimate, and now per unit you're going to spend about $7,000 to turn the unit in order to increase the rent $250. And the thing with the money that you're spending, that $7,000, you want to be able to try to recoup that money in less than 48 months. So if you're getting $250 extra a month, now in 2 years, you're going to be somewhere around almost a little bit over that $5,000. So you're going to pull all your money back in less than 3 years. So it's solid. The return is worth the equity that you're going to put up front to do those repairs. And so now, once you get those new numbers, you go in, you calculate the new rent that you'll be able to achieve, subtract out, your vacancy for the area and just all your other expenses, taxes, insurance, utilities if you're paying that, your property management fee, and then you come up with a number that's left over and then multiply it by 12. And now you say, hey, if you're in Center Point or maybe Forestdale somewhere, I would say right now those areas probably like a 7 cap. And you just divide that number by 0.07 and boom, now you know what that property is going to be worth.
So I don't have to just recreate the wheel. I don't have to just do what I feel when I'm renovating, just put everything that I think I would want to live in.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't never do that. That's the thing. I tell people, like, we do this, all this stuff is 5th grade math. We add, subtract, and multiply and divide. And like a lot of people get intimidated by it, but like it's not complicated. And there's nothing new under the sun. Now, like people been living in houses and homes and apartments for decades and centuries. It's like the process is pretty straightforward, but you just gotta know what you're doing and have the confidence in yourself. And if you don't know it, find somebody that knows.
Now, one of my mentors, Sean Simmons, he says the biggest department in his business is the R&R department, and that's the rob and duplicate. You ain't got to recreate this stuff, man. This stuff has been done. It's been tested. Like, just follow it. Like, can you tweak it? Put your sauce on
After
it.
you follow.
Yeah, but follow first.
Follow.
Like,
Yes.
don't come out the gate with all your grand ideas. Follow first, establish it. Now you want to tweak it as you go along. That's different. But rob and duplicate, pay attention to what others are doing, and most of the time it works out. Success leaves clues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just follow the successful people and what they're doing. That'll lead you right to success.
Yeah, because they've already tested it. So don't just jump in on something. It's already been tested. It's already been tested. Just do it.
Yep.
What's up, fam? What's up, fam? All right. So we rocking and rolling now. You mentioned that your wife is a key role in your business. Has it always been that way, or has it been kind of these? Oh, come on, tell me about it.
No, it had, I can't sit here and tell you that it's always been that way. And because real estate was always my vision. She's been 100% supportive and like doing the different parts that she did, like with our very first fix and flip we did up here in the Virginia area. Like she was there with the landscaping and doing all that. Because I was in the job and doing everything, and so she was kind of just a standoff. And until she really got a glimpse when we started scaling up and doing multiple projects simultaneously, she realized all the work and that I was doing behind the scenes. And so she stepped in and started getting more involved, and it happened over time. And so, but that's the thing, that I put myself out there as a leader, and that I knew I was doing, and she had to trust in me. And I was like, hey, let's go. Even though she didn't know all the answers and know what we were going to do and how I was doing, but she had the confidence in me. And I do project management for the Air Force, and I've been doing that for my career. And so it was like, when we got started, I was like, hey, if I can manage these hundreds of millions of dollars contractors doing software development, I can manage contractors, doing $100,000 renovation project. And so, but you got to still go out there and figure it out. But she had the confidence, and over time, she kind of stepped in and took a lot of that off my plate.
All right. What advice, women, close your ears. What advice would you give a man that's in business or thinking about going into business with his wife?
Communicate. Don't assume. You got to communicate. Like, even though because a lot of times you may have difference of opinions, but still you got to communicate. And like my mom said, like, you don't never go to bed mad at your spouse. And so it can work, but both sides got to really communicate and over communicate, make sure you're on the same page and know your boundaries. That, hey, if you're going to give somebody something to do, get out the way. Don't micromanage them, trust them to do it. And if they don't do it, then you got to have a conversation. I mean, that's with any employee or, partner. You got to give people the opportunity to fail and kind of grow along the way. So I think just keep those chains of communication open and put those boundaries, like, hey, we're not talking work after 6 o'clock is done. And I think that'll kind of help you get down that path.
What's the work-life balance for you guys? What's the work-life balance? I feel like personally I don't have a work-life balance and that everything kind of bleeds into each other. So what's the work-life balance, if any, with you guys?
It's a good balance. I get that a lot because, like, I'm still active duty Air Force full time, and then we got the investment business, and I coach now, and we got 3 kids, and so it's protecting your time. I use my schedule, like, even to the time, like, hey, Thursday nights tonight is Netflix and chill night. Like, I got my REI Genius Live. I go live 8 to 9 p.m. I'm usually working between 8 to 4, and so I have meetings with clients on Tuesdays and Wednesdays 5 to 6. And so just by the time blocks where you set boundaries, people know when you're reachable, when you're not reachable. I coach Monday night, 8 p.m. and do that. And, and so I kind of got time bounds and stuff on there, like quiet time with the kids to knock the homework in between the sessions after I get home. And then on the weekend, I have some time like to catch up on things. But for me, it's like I'm not in my market, so I can't just jump in the car and go check on a project or things like that. So I don't have that. I don't have that luxury, so that's a good thing that keeps me from going to the projects and being hands-on and micromanaging. But from another aspect, it just kind of manage the time, and without my calendar, it would be almost impossible. But that it kind of protects yourself, and like the most important things, even the family time. And I learned that last year, like I got to put that on there on the calendar because it's important. And so once you kind of lock those things in and set boundaries, people will respect it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. We were having that conversation yesterday. We blocked off Wednesdays for every week. So our team and our students was like, wait a minute, like Wednesday's not available. No, we're not available. And it was because we had been saying it for so long. We're gonna have Vision Wednesdays. We're gonna have Vision Wednesdays, and we would do it once a month or sporadically once every 3 months. But we realized that time together, we needed that time together, whether we are in two different areas, whether we go bowling, whether we go to a hotel, whatever we needed to
Nice.
do it outside of the kids, outside of the
Yep.
students, outside of the team, just outside of everyone, and just really seclude ourselves. So today was like, all right, you wasn't ready yesterday. I hope you're ready today. But that Vision Wednesday, we hope that we can continue it. That's our hope.
Yeah.
But being able to separate that time, because it's important to other people, but you have to make sure that you're good, you're healthy, you're strong, because you can't give to others if you don't have time for yourself. So we was hit hard with that last year where we
Yeah.
was just giving it to everybody and
Right.
not giving it back in
And
return.
even right now, we got to reset and kind of take some of our time back. That's a part of what we realized yesterday was, hey, let's at one point we wasn't like this. Like let's reset those boundaries and let's stick to them and let's tell people exactly what it is. And they'll know, and they'll most of the time they'll respect.
Understand, yeah.
So they only go as far as you allow them to go for the most
Yeah.
part. So if you set your boundaries and you do the things that you want to do, they'll be okay.
Our kids have boundaries. They're like, hey,
Yep.
it's my practice time. I expect you to watch it. I need you to tell me later what I did wrong. So while you at this practice, I need your undivided attention. When you home, if this Netflix night for Disney Plus for us,
Yeah.
it's Disney
Yep.
Plus.
Disney
I
Plus.
get in so much trouble trying to sneak out the laptop, and they'll be like,
Oh, they gonna
yes,
let you know.
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
So
So
I appreciate that.
we got two good questions that came in. I'm gonna write down my question I got. I'm gonna forget
You're
it.
gonna forget it. All right. So first question is: have you ever experienced a business transaction or deal that did not go as planned or ended up in failure? If so, how did you manage to recover from it and move forward? Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. As far as like failure, like we've been blessed. We never lost money in a deal. Um, I've lost earnest money on a couple deals where like it didn't appraise with my hard money lender, and we decided not to go down that route just because we, I don't on single family and like duplexes, like I don't like to leave like 30 and 40,000 in a deal. So we lost like 5K in earnest money. I had a house tore down by the city down in Panama City. That was crazy. That went sideways with the county and I can't pinpoint to say, the good old boys, they had it out for me, but if you had to put my money on it, I said they had it out for me because there was no way they denied my engineer's drawings and just all the rigmarole that they put us through for a house that we completely remodeled houses that were half as with half worse shape than what that was. But we're gonna rebuild, we're gonna get it rezoned for multifamily. So it's just delayed on that one because we still got the land and everything. So, you have challenges like that. But the cool thing was, that I was in a position where I could take that in stride because I still had to pay the mortgage down because we had a hard money loan. And I just kind of the last month decided that we're gonna go after the title company because there was some other things where it had liens prior existing. Well, it wasn't a lien. They had code violations that weren't brought up in title, that didn't come up in title. And so I think we're going to do a claim against the title for that, for the title insurance. But, so that was probably the most challenging one. But the thing is that you kind of work through that process and you figure out like, okay, what do I need to do to cover down? How do I evolve from that? How do I not make these same mistakes with, me? That was one deal where we didn't use our normal title company who does all the research normally. But this person was adamant, like, hey, we're going to use our own company, our own title company that we bought it with. And so they should do a little bit more due diligence as well as I should have too. So I would say that situation would be one that is a good lesson learned. I don't think it's a failure because we're going to rebuild on a lot and get
I was
that
just
done.
gonna
So
say, I don't think anything we go through is really a failure. I think our mind tells us that we're failing, but there's something good in every situation, whether it's a lesson, whether you are there to teach somebody else what mistakes you made. But nothing is ever a failure, because nothing is end. Like you if you fail today, guess what? You're gonna wake up tomorrow. You're gonna still, like, life still goes on, things still go on. So don't look at it as a failure, look at it as the lesson, and build from it. Because if it's still there,
Yep.
if you still have it and it's still there, then guess what? Change your plan with it, modify your strategy, change your strategy, adjust. We are in the as real estate investors, we are in the current, we are adjusting, pivoting at all times, because it's really important. The market's going to shift, the market's going to change, it's going to do it up and down. And history just shows that. So just adjust, be able to adjust, be open to adjust, and just do it. Yeah, just
Okay.
do it.
If you got a follow-up question from that one, follow up. But this next one is a good question, and I ain't gonna read all of it. I'm gonna break it up. It says, how do you handle purchasing multifamily when previous owners hadn't increased the rent through the years? For example, if the rent is 500 when it should be 700, how do you
Start fresh.
start fresh with tenants
Or
or
do you
just don't purchase it? What do you do in a situation like that?
Oh, that's great. I love that situation. That's what I look for. That's as a value add investor, you want neglected properties or properties where they haven't kept up with maintenance, they haven't kept up with the market rent, because that there lies the opportunity for you to increase value. So if you're going through, and I don't want to do public math, but being able to get a $200 rent increase, and the more units that you scale up, that I think it's 32 units. If you get $100 rent increase with 200 units, and I think that gets you to like a $1 million increase in valuation at a 6% cap rate. But
Wow.
somewhere in there, so that's how you add value. And so multifamilies aren't evaluated or compared to what the other property sold for. They're looking at the income statement. When you buy an apartment, you're buying a business, and so they're looking at how much is your net operating income. The income is producing, subtracting the expenses, what's left over. Now they're going to look based off of what others are trading for, that capitalization rate, the cap rate that I was referring to. They're going to divide that cash flow by that number, and it's going to tell you, hey, this is what this business or this apartment is worth. So that's the opportunity. You want to look for those opportunities where rents haven't been kept up and marketing, where you can go in and make improvements.
Okay, great answer. So if for people who are just listening, when he says value add, that's exactly what he's talking about. Where he can come in, add some value to the property by increasing the rents. Yes, you might do some renovations, but when you hear multifamily people say value add, they're not looking for property that's already rented, that's already maxed out when it comes to the rent amount, that's already rehab. That's not a value add investor for multifamily.
So Johnny, can you tell us a few value adds, so that way we can go a little deeper, so that way they
Sure.
understand, like, what are value adds?
Sure, most definitely. And I'll say that with that too, with the tenant, that second question, that a lot of times when the rent prices go up, that a lot of your tenant base is going to change too. So just know that your occupancy is probably going to drop a little bit along the way. But like really with the value add, one, that your the same components of a household, probably I would say the big ones like your roof, potentially your systems like your HVAC systems, potentially water heaters, are a lot of times deferred maintenance in those areas. But a lot of times where you're going to really make your money is going to be on the new flooring, the fresh paint, and then the kitchen. And so whether it's a lot of times, you can use the pre-existing cabinets and just paint the cabinets and maybe change out the countertops and the hardware on the cabinets, and then and change the appliance package. We're putting new appliances in there, whether it's white appliances or black appliance. As you go higher in, you're definitely going to have like stainless steel and granite, just if you're in like a prominent area where your rents are going to be a little bit higher. So those are some of the components that you want to fix that are going to add value to your overall what you're able to charge, and then of course your overall value for the property as a whole.
Sweet. All right. So if you got any more questions, y'all drop y'all questions while you have Mr. Johnny here. I got one more question. I don't know what Ashley got, but my last question will be: what advice would you give someone that is trying to get into the multifamily game but just don't know where to start?
No, that's a great question because everybody started from somewhere different, but like you got to start taking action. Reading different books, to kind of figure out the process. But you got to figure out to start taking action. Whether it's of course getting the knowledge, but finding like a mentor or somebody, a local investor, joining meetups, joining networking groups like what you guys have going on, getting around people that are already doing what it is that you're doing, that's successful doing it. Like the thing that people don't realize, like you're literally buying your time, because if you can find an investor that's been investing 20, 30 years and they can pour into you and give you lessons learned that they've had for their 30 years, you're able to learn and take in their 30 years experience in, weeks, days, months. And so that's kind of like a life hack, because now you got their 30 years experience and you're off to the races. You don't have to make those same mistakes. And so I think really just find your tribe, find the right person, individual that that's doing it, vet them, make sure that they're legit, and then just do it and take action and know that, whatever it is that you're gonna come against you going into it, that you're gonna be able to overcome it, because everybody else has gone through and figured it out, and you're no different. Like I talk to so many, like, people aren't like super smart, brilliant, and everything. Most of these entrepreneurs, people that's doing this stuff, a lot of them don't even have a degree. And it's the same way with Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, Steve Jobs, they all dropped out of college. Like, because you got to think different. You got to approach life differently. And if you do that, you're going to be in good shape. So I say take action, because guess what? None of us have as much time on this earth as we would like. And shame on you if you're not serious. And we done came out through a pandemic, survived. And shame on you if you're not really serious about your goals and changing and going after whatever it is. Because like you can be content with 5 houses. And you can retire on 5 houses. You do it the right way and focus on paying those off. So it's like so many different strategies, and it doesn't have to be like these huge, grandiose things and portfolios in order for you to be successful, live comfortably, and obtain financial freedom. So just start, take action, because it starts with one deal. Everybody gets started with their first deal. And if you're not doing your first deal, you shouldn't even be thinking about deal number 100.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Now, you said life hack. I would definitely say I went to college and I learned so much more after college, because I started understanding the life hack of paying for mentorships, paying for education. Like when we really dived into it, it changed everything, because it expedited the whole learning process. Like we skipped so many steps.
We skipped so many obstacles that should have been roadblocks, should have been obstacles. But it was because of education. And I remember at one point, our friends and people around us was like, there they go again. Every time somebody comes and they selling something, we run into the back of the room trying to buy it, because we understood that the last person that came that showed us this, okay, now we done grew this much. And then we are all right, we implemented those, and now we try. And it becomes leaps and bounds, like your growth year over year. Like your returns are infinite when you invest in yourself. And we didn't even realize ours, but it was one of my friends that I saw, and she was so touchable. She went from rookie, brand new. I'm like showing her how to do investing on the side. We weren't even coaches then. And then we started noticing every event that was happening, she wasn't just getting in the room, she was going to VIP. She was speaking with the speakers. And I'm like, why are you doing that? She was like, you have to try it. And I was like, yeah, okay. In a year span, it was not the same person. We had to have a conversation. You are absolutely right. Wherever you going now, VIP, let me know. I got to make the sacrifice, because that's what changes your trajectory. That's what changes your mindset. You grow up thinking one way is the only way. College helped me to see that, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, because people were raised so many different ways. But it wasn't until after college, it's like, oh, the only reason why I needed to go to college was to be exposed to different people and different things.
Yes.
But you really didn't need it. Life
hack. Go pay somebody for their experience, man. If you don't get nothing else out of this, go pay somebody. I don't care who you pay. Pay somebody and dive into it and focus on that. Whatever that is, focus on that. I would say one point, I was laughing so hard because like every month we was buying a different program.
We were.
And it was like, all right, Ashley, we got to go execute on these other programs before we go buy some more programs. So understand that it's possible, you can do it.
Don't just buy it just because. Buy it and implement it.
Yes, implement it one at a time. Get what you can get from it and move on.
Sean said, facts, learn way more outside of college than in.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. All right. I'm good. You got a question?
Juddy, tell them how, if they wanted to connect with you, they maybe can't come to REI Live and they want to connect with you. What's the best way to connect with you? How can they find you?
Yep. No, great question. LinkedIn, Facebook is great. Just Johnny Lynham on both platforms. And then also the Military CEO on Instagram. And yeah, would love to connect with anybody there and any questions they may have.
Love it. Don't forget, he is coming to Birmingham live and in person.
Yes.
On what day, baby?
REI Live, February 20th.
REI Live, February 20th. He's going to be talking about how that one deal can change your life, y'all.
So listen, this is an absolutely free event. Whether you're a first-time guest, whether you're a second-time guest, it's going to be absolutely free. So get in the room. The magic is in the room. Don't ask me later, do we have the recording? No. Do whatever you need to do. Get your babysitters. Do whatever you need to do. And come out. Come shake his hand. Come talk to him. Come ask your question. Whatever that burning question is that's been going around, you've been spinning your wheels, come out and do it. Don't waste any time. All right?
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Thank you for doing this podcast for us. It means a lot to us. This is something that we've had in the background, in the makings for a minute, even though we don't say nothing. It's been in the makings.
Yes.
So thank you for coming out. We can't wait to see you for REI Live and bless our people then also.
We love you guys.
Most definitely.
Yes. You want to close out, Johnny? Anything you want to say to the people?
No, I'll just say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and looking forward to coming down and just sharing and meeting everybody and hopefully inspiring somebody to change their life.
Sound good to me.
Let's do it. Love you guys.
Peace.